Welcome to Geeks Corner. I'm Mr. Daps.
I'm Katie.
Apart from September 14th of 1943, the U.S. Senate canteen has served the same bean soup every day from the same recipe for over 100 years.
What happened on September 14th?
1943? No idea.
Really?
Yep.
That's bizarre.
That's fascinating.
You know what else is great? I'm Cameron. Use the hashtag
Cameron.
Geeks Corner. Hashtag Geeks Corner is where you're going to talk at us on Twitter, and we'll talk back.
And we will try to keep up with it. Yeah, and tonight we're going to talk about temperatures at Disneyland, Artemis Fowl, Disney Plus, potential movies, the messing up of the movie schedule for Disney, and get along to underappreciated Disney songs along with a game we're about to play. I feel like I just did the opening of Grand Tour, Cameron. And
yes. On tonight's episode,
we need to do that. We should like pre-record that or something. I don't know. That'd be kind of cool.
Katie talks to a goose.
That is how we need to do it. So we'll have to actually prepare or something. Anyway, hopefully you can all hear us, see us, all that fun jazz. Let us know. We will try to keep up with that. And thank you, Roger, for taking care of Twitter for us tonight. Maybe somebody can send him the order because I forgot to. Anyway,
I'll send it.
Thank you. So we are going to start off with just today. There was a interview with Bob Iger that was released where he talked about the return to the parks for guests whenever that will be. And one of the things that came up is they're looking at different options for how to keep a safe and comfortable environment for guests coming in. And he hinted at the thought of checking people's temperatures when they enter the parks, probably at the security perimeter, if I had to make a guess. Let's talk about this a little bit. One, how do you think they're going to do it? And two, what do you think about it? Katie, go.
I think the forehead scanners. I think that is the least invasive way to do something like taking a temperature. You just do a little forehead boopity boop. And it also makes sure that people are aware of the rules when they come in. It's not like it'll be some secret thing and then someone in a suit comes out and they're like, your temperature is too high, and like removes them quietly. It'll be very open.
I thought they use a taser or something.
Yeah, it's actually new technology. It's a little laser, and if your temperature is too high, you drop to the floor. Kidding.
It starts by taking a temperature, and then if it triggers it, you just pass out. Oh yeah. Man, that's not good.
And then someone, actually 11 someones in black suits show up, make a quick circle, and then you're gone. I do think the bigger thing with this is that if Bob Iger has talked about it publicly, there are much bigger things that they are planning, and this is the one thing that is safe to talk about, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I don't think that it's necessarily going to be big, like Big Brother type things. I don't think it's going to be anything too big or too crazy, but I think that this is something that he has clearance to talk about. And the other ideas, they're kind of still probably processing and workshopping.
Okay.
If that makes sense.
Cameron, what do you think?
I agree. It's probably going to start with something simple like a thermal scanner to the head, which sounds way cooler than it actually is. But I would not be surprised if they use laser tech eventually, which is to say integrated into the metal detectors.
Oh, I almost guarantee that's how it's going to end up.
They have, just like you check with a laser turkey temp inside of an oven, they're going to put them right into those things you walk through, make it super convenient. They can also use thermal imaging, which is to say have a big camera over a group area that uses collected data to determine if something's over a particular temperature. It will pop it up and say this person is of interest, and by the time they get up they will then properly scan them rather than scanning everybody individually.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if that is actually the way that they're aiming for, and it'd be something that would be as tech savvy, I guess you could say, as they're doing this the moment you get out of your car or the moment you get off the bus or the moment you're starting to walk onto the property. So by the time you were close up to security, they've already picked you out and they're like, oh, would you come
very
over this
calmly
line?
Removed you. Yes.
And they're just going to take you over to security checkpoint number 1 or whatever it is. And then they're going to like, we just would like you to know that we've, they'll do their Disney polite thing, and we'd like to take care of you, blah, blah, blah.
Hi there, folks. We've determined a member of your party has encountered a 2319. Would you mind stepping over here with us?
Yeah, they'll have some fancy code. So I think you're probably right on with that. I think actually today was all about gauging public reaction. I don't think it's necessarily that this is they're going to do something most likely, but they're seeing how much they absolutely have to do, because at the end of the day, as I've been seeing on our article and so many other places, if they're actually catching the temperature, that's not going to catch everybody that has this. It's only going to catch the people that are that far along and have those symptoms. And so there's a lot of clamor about, well, this isn't going to do enough and this isn't going to do that. How loud that clamor is, I'm sure Disney is watching very closely right now to determine if it's worth doing something different, if it's worth holding off an opening date until there's a medical advance that can create a safer environment for people. All of those things that I'm sure they're taking into consideration. And they also talked about what they're doing or they're analyzing what China's doing as they bring people back to quote unquote normalcy. And I'm sure they're going to read the reactions to that as much as anything having to do with effectiveness. Did you have something else, Cameron? Or
Nope, just adjusting various other things around. Sorry.
Oh, okay, cool. I didn't know if that was a raising my hand, I would like to talk thing, or I was like, well, we haven't done that really before, but we can.
Nope. I have lots of bits and bobs around that are getting adjusted.
That is allowed. Anything else you guys have on this one? Do you think we're pretty close on this, or do you think there's something completely different going to happen?
Yep, I think Disney's goal in general is to make it as unnoticeable as possible. I bet you the actual processes to get into the park, especially after those first couple weeks of opening, aren't going to look too different from what they are right now. They're probably just going to have some stuff on the back end they're doing a little bit different.
Well, and I'm sure they're going to publicize something that they're doing, and it might not even be the important something that they're doing, just because to me this is as much about safety, it's as much about making people feel safe. And sometimes that's just as big of a gift, and so it'll be interesting to see how it actually plays out. All right, the other big news that I know, Cameron, I don't know actually, are you excited about this or not, Cameron? Artemis Fowl was supposed to be coming out soon, and now it will be coming out soon, but it will not be coming out in movie theaters. Instead, it will be sent directly to Disney Plus, and that announcement I think was made on Sunday or something. And so my question, I'm going to ask you, Cameron, first, because you've been the one that's looking forward to this the most, I feel like.
I'm the Artemis Fowl correspondent.
You are. So my question is, one, are you excited about it going straight to your local living rooms?
As opposed to my long-distance living rooms, yes.
Well, as a core, as we could
That's
be
how I
going
refer to theaters, yeah.
Okay, I was going to say, we
living rooms.
probably would have gone with you to the theater to see this opening night. But so how do you feel about that first? And do you think that's fair to the movie? Is it going to be an okay viewing experience? Whatever.
Here's the thing. Artemis Fowl was probably never going to do super good in theaters
sure
unless it pulled a Lion King. Please remember, the Lion King was the B movie for the year it came out. The main focus was it Pocahontas, I think, for that year?
Yeah.
And if you didn't do well enough to be on Pocahontas, you got sent to Lion King.
The one flip side I would give to that from a marketing standpoint, though, is when Lion King was being introduced to us, and I was, I think, in middle school then. Might have been freshman year of high school, I don't know.
95.
Okay, so freshman year of high school. We were ecstatic about this movie. Like, everybody I knew was really excited about The Lion King.
Yeah. I think there was a realization ahead of time that came to it. They're like, oh, we have something on our hands. It's amazing.
There was a momentum going into the movie that I just haven't felt for really anything this year so far.
But for sake of my analogy, I think
sorry.
I think that Artemis Fowl was the B, or because they have so many projects, the D, E, F track movie that they were making this year. That was going to be profitable because people are going to take the kids to the theater to see it because it came out at a time.
And the time slot,
yeah. That's fine. I'm still not 100% that it's going to be a good movie. But by putting it to Disney Plus, it's going to have a wider viewing audience than it did before, almost guaranteed. The downside is if it is an exceptional movie, we're not likely to see this bounce back and do a theatrical sequel or anything
do another
like that.
Disney Plus.
They'll just put it back on Disney Plus, which is fine. But it also means that if it is exceptional, it's not going to get any of the accolades it would have gotten for actually being in theaters.
True.
If it is mediocre or niche for somebody like me who is a fan of the book series, and if they do things right that doesn't necessarily appeal to a wide audience but makes me enjoy it more, sure, that's going to be a benefit.
But do you think they're going to do that just from what you've seen so far?
As far as
do you think they're going to be true to the books in a way that if you've read the books, you're really going to love this movie? Because everybody I've talked to that have read the books have been pointing out, well, they're doing this and they're changing the character that.
And that's kind of, they've definitely, I'm really hoping, and I know I've said it on this show many times before, that they're pulling a Fight Club with this, which is to say that Chuck Palahniuk's masterpiece book, Fight Club, when it was made into a motion picture, everything that was advertised for it advertised it as high-octane action-adventure movie, which it wasn't. They were doing that to sell it. And when it came out, it was this beautiful, introspective film that dealt with some really deep themes. But because they couldn't advertise that, they advertised it how they knew how. And then by the time it came to the theaters, people were caught off guard by this amazing film. Part of me still kind of hopes that they're really pulling all of these things they knew were going to sell for Artemis Fowl and that it's going to be this other movie. I highly doubt it, but there's still that hope.
Mike properly recognized Lion King was 94, which means I was in 8th grade. And he was working at AMC, which I would think was pretty cool because that means he might have been able to see it before everybody else. So thank you, Mike. And thank you for the Daps caps, too. We will make sure that once we can all hang out again together, we will get those. Whenever that might be. I'm not even going to make predictions or open the floor up for predictions anymore because you just don't know. So the interesting thing that continues on with this conversation, we've got Artemis Fowl for sure going to Disney Plus. Onward went to Disney Plus after 2 weeks, and that really, I think, was a timing.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no way you could plan this. That probably is a movie that should have done very well. But
that's making weak lemonade out of the lemons they got handed.
Yeah, and more power to him. I actually think it's kind of fun. I like it's a nice little present that we got with that and Frozen 2 getting them early on Disney Plus. So Artemis Fowl has been moved. And Bob Iger in this interview today also indicated that other future movies could be heading towards the Disney Plus release schedule as well. And I'm trying to pull that up real quick. But we had a release schedule completely change over the weekend too, in the last week, I guess. And so we've got everything basically bumped back in the foreseeable future, other than Soul, which kept its June 19th date. We'll see if it actually makes it.
We'll see.
But Mulan now is on July 24th. You've got Black Widow's bumped back to November now. And Raya and the Last Dragon, I haven't seen a date change yet. But it's definitely mixed things up. I think one of the big bummers I noticed that makes me wonder if it's actually going to happen is Indiana Jones got bumped back yet another year. So that's 2 or 3 times now it's been bumped back a year. And I don't think they've signed their director exactly yet, but it sounds like Steven Spielberg is probably not going to be him.
Also, Harrison Ford's kind of old.
And Harrison Ford is not getting any younger.
It's not a
Don't go near any bridges over expanses. That's all I'm going to say.
He needs to stop flying planes is what he needs to do.
He's done okay recently. He's stuck with helicopters. So my question is we have a list of upcoming movies from across the span of the Walt Disney Company, and I gave you guys that link. Iger indicated some more could be heading straight to Disney Plus. As you're looking down this list, which ones do you think might be the ones that are like, oh, this one's going straight to Disney Plus?
Jungle Cruise and Cruella.
Really?
Yeah. I
will listen more. Go ahead.
Because looking at the features that are on there, they're not going to send a Marvel thing straight to Disney Plus. I think
they're hoping Jungle Cruise is going to be the next Pirates of the Caribbean franchise. So personally would be a bit surprised if they sent that to Disney Plus. I don't know that it's going to be the Pirates of the Caribbean franchise either, because that was lightning in a bottle. But Cameron, what do you think?
No, it was a jar of dirt. It was not lightning.
Thank you.
I agree that Cruella is going to get pushed back.
I think that one has a potential. Yeah.
Yeah, because that is a single lead film that's much easier to manipulate.
And they haven't necessarily hit home runs with all of those types of films.
Yeah. I don't see Jungle Book getting pushed back.
You mean Jungle Cruise?
Jungle Cruise getting
Or
pushed
Jungle
back.
Book.
Or Jungle Book. I mean, Jungle Book.
Since it's already
9,
there.
Number 10.
Jungle Book 2, Electric Boogaloo.
Okay.
Yes. This time it's Jungle Booker. I also don't think Jungle Cruise is going to be nearly as successful as they're hoping. But
I agree. I think it's going to be a really fun movie. I don't think it's going to be Pirates of the Caribbean.
Yeah, here's the thing. The Rock does not do well in franchises unless they are playing to a certain audience. And I'm looking at Fast and Furious. Ensemble, putting together a team movies. I love The Rock. I love The Rock. Seriously, he's one of my favorite actors and people in the zeitgeist right now. He can't hold a movie as a lead or as a tandem lead in that way. I think he is a wonderful secondary, tertiary character. Perfect example being Maui in Moana. He was flawless in that film because he is not
what
the
if
straight
Emily
man. Yeah.
Blunt is the main role, though? Because I actually think she is.
I think she will be, but they're setting it up as a tandem lead. Like it is The Rock, Emily Blunt. It's kind of like,
but do you think that's actually how it is, or is this marketing?
I think it is, and I think it's in the same way that The Mummy was a tandem lead.
Sure.
I'm betting it's that dynamic.
And you don't think that'll work?
I don't think it'll work. I don't think The Rock can hold it. The Rock is no Brendan Fraser.
I agree. Katie, what do you think about this? Throwing it back at you.
Think about Jungle Cruise?
Yeah.
Mainly
The Rock.
Cameron started talking about Fast and Furious. And I know that you haven't been to Universal Studios Hollywood, but when I think about Fast and Furious,
Buckle up, Buttercup.
All I think about is Fast and Furious Supercharged, which is an attraction for sure. Yeah, well, if you can call it that. But
it is an experience.
It's an experience.
Okay.
When I think about The Rock in the Fast and Furious films, I think about what I have seen at Fast and Furious Supercharged at Universal Studios Hollywood, and I don't love it. But that's also him playing a more serious, I'm a bad boy type character.
Mm-hmm.
Not really. Like, I feel like this is more room for comedy.
Okay.
Of course there's room for comedy. It's a comedic film. You know what I mean, though?
Counter argument. Tooth Fairy.
Oh, counter argument. Was he in the game plan? Was that him?
Yes. Is that the one that is the exact same movie that Drax is making now?
Yes. Same movie. Yeah, that movie was cute. I like that movie.
I think he kind of has that that Disney hokiness that he brings to it, which is why it won't be a Pirates of the Caribbean film. It'll be one that everybody likes and they'll have fun with. It probably will not win any awards. It probably will do very well at the box office. And I will be interested to see if it does as well at the box office, but I think it'll be really fun.
It's a certain type. It's a certain type that he plays.
Yep.
And I think my problem is there are people, one specifically, that does it better than him. And I don't
who would you like to see in that role, just out of without knowing who it is? Or
Terry Crews.
Okay.
Terry Crews would own that role. He does The Rock's shtick better than The Rock does. Infinitely more.
So now that we have to wait a year and 2 months, I will be curious to see if you still think that when we're walking out of that movie on opening night. I honestly just don't know. Like, I think it's a movie I'm predisposed to like because I love the Jungle Cruise, and I've got quite a few people that I know that worked on this movie, but I just have that there's that something that doesn't I guess the reason Pirates of the Caribbean worked is because nobody expected it to.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of like risk taken with Captain Jack Sparrow because nobody thought this was going to go anywhere anyway. So like, who cares? You know, we're not going to fight with him. And so I have to wonder if there's going to be that, and that tends to lead to some really awesome moments. Is they're they're not unscripted, but they're kind of just unexpected magic.
Well, when they're given room, like, because you're absolutely right in that Johnny Depp's choices for developing Jack Sparrow, and this is not a disparagement or an accolade statement for the actor himself. I'm just talking about the character.
They're just what it did.
The character is based on a couple of different things, but one of which is an interview with Tom Waite on like it was like a show in like I think the 90s.
Yeah.
And the videos online of Tom Waite doing Jack Sparrow before Jack Sparrow was a thing.
Yeah.
And you watch that and you just go, oh, they let Johnny Depp just do an imitation of Tom Waite in this interview, and it's flawless. But it's because they didn't care enough about where the character was going. They let him do it.
So I think the best movies take a risk in that way quite often. And so I'll be curious to see if there's those risks taken. And maybe Emily Blunt is the one that actually ended up surprising us.
She's my hope for the film.
She is my hope for the film as well. I think The Rock is going to be exactly what we expect. It'll be fine. But it won't be stellar. And I just think it's going to be a fun, happy film. Let's move on very quickly. Cameron has done a series of articles on the underappreciated Disney songs that can be found throughout Disney history. And so we thought we would revisit one of these. And I think, Katie, we're going to let you kick this off. Is rather than... Do you want to go straight from the article, Cameron, or can we just throw anything out there?
I say anything. Mine's going to be from the article. So
okay, so let's throw anything out there. And it doesn't matter if it's in the article or not. We will still reference it. But Katie, what is your underappreciated song for this wonderful rainy night of Geeks Corner?
Part of this is because I watched it today, and part of it is because it's the anniversary today for a Goofy movie.
Mm-hmm.
But On the Open Road, I feel, does not get enough love. I was thinking while I was watching a Goofy movie, when we went to 90s night a year, 2 years ago, however long ago that was.
Long time.
No, the 90s were like 20 years ago, man. Like,
wait, no way. Get out. Nah, you're kidding.
No doubt. It's fetch.
Yeah, weird. But when we went to 90s night, we heard Eye to Eye so many times. Like, we heard it. And this is not a joke. We heard it maybe 100 times at 90s night.
At least. It was everywhere.
It was in the fireworks show.
So you think this is the underappreciated song?
I think that On the Open Road is the underappreciated song.
Oh, okay,
it's a very... No, Eye to Eye is not the underappreciated song.
I was like, I feel like that was... Okay.
We even have been... I'm pretty sure the three of us have been to multiple weddings where Eye to Eye was played and everyone did the perfect cast. So... But
then again, we're around a lot of Disney people, so I don't think that is a litmus test.
Okay, so...
but On the Open Road is a very good storytelling song, and it's just fun. I brought up On the Open Road earlier, and both of you proceeded to hum it for like 10-15 minutes. But when I was watching a Goofy movie today, it's just fun. It gets the point across. It's very like Travel by Map Muppets. Which I enjoyed, but it's a very fun song. But I feel like when you talk about a Goofy movie, everyone either goes Stand Out or Eye to Eye. So I feel like it's just it's an overlooked song, especially out of that movie specifically.
And it captures the characters, I feel like, very effectively.
Yeah.
Like it is Goofy. It fits. It moves things along. Yeah, just good. Cameron, what do you got?
Well, I don't know if I'm gonna surprise anybody with this, but.
Is it from Hunchback of Notre Dame?
What? How did you know?
So Cameron would never.
Well, the last time we had this conversation, though, it didn't go the way I expected. Anyway, keep going.
So this article is actually 3 articles. They're all available on dapsmagic.com, and in each one I list out 10 different songs that are underappreciated, totaling 30 songs. In each article, at least one of the songs is from Hunchback of Notre Dame because it's the best. It's the best. Hey guys, it's the best. And I would go on an entire rant about why that film is the best thing in the entire world. If you haven't watched it as an adult, go back and watch it. Go back and
Okay.
watch it. You go
I
back and watch it.
will. Okay.
You've got a point.
I
Anyway,
will.
what's your
I'll
song?
do it tomorrow.
Any Biscuit. My song is a song that everybody assumes is two songs, but they're not. It's called Heaven's Gate and Hell's Fire, or Heaven's Light and Hellfire. It is Heaven's Light / Hellfire.
Yeah, it's all one track on the soundtrack.
Yes, it is one song, and it's important that it's one song because the first half is sung by Quasimodo, talking about the beauty and simplicity of the world around him and what he's just experienced as Heaven's Light through one person, Esmeralda. The second half of it is Judge Claude Frollo singing about the same person being Hellfire, and it's risky because it's addressing the subject matter of
It's one of
attraction.
the most risky. Yeah.
The only riskier song is also in the movie called God Bless the Outcast, but that's a different thing entirely. But it talks about attraction. It talks about perception. It talks about who's to blame if things go right or wrong. Is it on you or is it on the other person?
Yeah.
And both perspectives are taken on it. All in the context of religion. All of this is in the context of both the good side of religion, which is altruistic and loving and caring and immediately accepting of what's around them despite everything, and the bad side, which is a bit condemning and blaming and shaming, and but it's the really cool part about it is both sides of the song are talking about the exact same thing from two different perspectives.
Okay.
And they chose to do the good one first and end on the bad one, which is really hard to do, but they do it extremely well. And there's parts in Latin, and any part in Latin is good. That's all. Thank you. I'm done.
Okay, Katie, what do you think?
I have no familiarity with Hunchback.
Oh.
So,
You
yeah,
need to
I
put
know.
that on your Disney Plus list. That
I'm gonna
tomorrow.
watch it tomorrow.
Or
And put it
tonight.
on your
Watch.
soul for condemnation.
And it's a
Alright.
really solid soundtrack. And
Oh, it's so good.
I'm
So
gonna watch it tomorrow. I'm going to watch it tomorrow. I'm going
Okay.
to watch
Katie,
it tomorrow.
this isn't me talking on the show. This is me talking at you.
I know.
Tell me when you're watching it. I
Well-
want to know so you can like live tweet
So you
it because
can
I
feel
want
it?
to vicariously experience it as it's happening.
Okay, I
Please.
will text
Please.
you when I start it, and I will also start
Update
a
me.
Twitter thread
Please.
tomorrow.
Please.
So everyone here on Geeks Corner, know that tomorrow I will be live tweeting Hunchback at.
She
some
said it
point
on the
there.
internet. It's gonna happen.
it has to happen now. All right, so I'm going to pick mine now. And mine probably won't be surprised after the last one, but I was going through different songs that I felt were underrated, and this one just got stuck in my head, which is why I decided this is the one that probably I should choose. And it is from The Sword and the Stone, and it's called Higa Disfigure. And it's the song that Merlin sings as he's packing and doing the spell with that. And it's one of the funniest songs with what happens to Archimedes, and it's a really fun Sherman Brothers song, and it gets stuck in your head, which is why I think it's an underrated Disney song, because to me the best ones are the ones that you walk out humming at the end of the movie, and I think that's the one in that movie I probably would go out humming if I had seen it for the first time. Like I can remember the first time seeing Beauty and the Beast, and you walked out of the theater and you had Beauty and the Beast stuck in your head, and I Just Can't Wait to Be King when you walked out of The Lion King. And but this is one of those ones that I don't think we will ever see in the parks. We will probably never see it anywhere. Like we're not going to see Disney promote Higa Disfigure anywhere.
It is in, just to really quick, it is in the finale unit of Magic Happens.
They sing Higa Disfigure.
They go, Higa Disfigure, make it
I did not catch that.
It's
Well
there.
done.
Thank you.
But it's not the tune. Like you need the Sherman
I
Brothers tune.
know,
Like the tune's
but
half of it. It's the
it is
same
there.
with Cameron's. Like the lyrics are important, but
If they
the
were
way
to play
the music is
Hellfire
sung,
somewhere in the parks,
they
the
used to.
place would burn to the ground. Where'd they
Uh,
play it?
It was in the fireworks, believe. There's magic in the stars. You go back and look at that on YouTube, and there was a whole Hellfire section. It's amazing, and it's shooting up orange fireworks and behind Toontown. It was
I'm
amazing.
gonna go find it. That's good.
Which is why I now think it's not underrated. You had an argument till that. So I think which one do you guys think is the most underrated for tonight? And I'm looking on Twitter too.
If we had to choose between them for most underrated for what it is, I would probably go with Katie's, simply because of how much it's overshadowed by the other two main stand-ins in that movie.
Fair. Katie?
I would. I'm stuck between mine and yours, just because I feel like Sword in the Stone is so overlooked. Period. Like
there is a right and wrong answer for this tonight, by the way. So you can give your arguments.
Love that for me. But I would probably say Higa Disfigure.
Okay, and the correct answer is Higa Disfigure, mainly because the Sherman Brothers wrote it. But as we're gonna have to go over for one more minute though, because Cameron, before we get out of here, talk about the game that we were about to play.
It's really good, and you should all watch. So,
y'all,
right before right before we hopped on for Geeks Corner tonight, I got a very special opportunity in every geek's life, which is I got to take both Katie and Mr. Daps through their first character build in Dungeons and Dragons. That's right, we're going to be playing a D&D campaign, and not just us. We'll have other folks joining us, including our wonderful producer Luke is going to be on there as well.
Love Luke.
As well as a dear friend of the show, Mikey, and another friend who you have not met, Daniel, who is a wonderful voice actor and is a very talented person. We're going to be playing Dungeons and Dragons together in a world that should be very familiar because it is based on the Disneyland parks. This campaign is going to be based in the world of Elias, and we're going to be starting that very soon with some live streams, so keep posted at dapsmagic.com, and I'm sure we'll share it to our Daps Magic and Geeks Corner channels. I'm going to be dungeon mastering for this. I will be the DM, and we have some wonderful characters built out. It's going to be really good.
It will be great. And dang.
You're going to go to thegeekscorner.com. That is thegeekscorner.com. It's the website where this is streaming right now if you're watching it there. If you're not, guess what? It lives there at all times because we own it and we pay residuals to keep it alive.
That's true.
You can go to dapsmagic.com. There's not a lot of news happening every day, but when news happens, it's really big. So you probably don't want to miss it. And subscribe to our mailing list and find our Patreon.
And subscribe to this YouTube channel so you don't miss any of the videos that we have going up, including our Daps Magic Live videos that we're trying to get up every couple of days, it seems like. And also you've got the retro video gaming with Murray. That's been a lot of fun as well. If you haven't watched it yet, go watch our 16th anniversary Daps Magic Live show. I think it's actually going to be a series so we can get more of our team members in on this as they share their memories through the years. But it was very fun and definitely worth watching. But we hope you are all having a fantastic week. We hope you're staying safe, washing your hands, and socially distancing like we are as well. But that is all the time we have for you this week, so we will see you around the corner.
Bye!